The cheap pine box used to bury Lee Harvey Oswald is now at the center of a legal battle. It was the first casket he was buried in, and his brother is now fighting to prove that he is the rightful owner. Fox 4's Phil Alvarado has more now on the fight from our Fort Worth newsroom. Phil.
Well, Heather, 2 days of testimony and final arguments ended about a half an hour ago. 80-year-old Robert Oswald testified on video he wasn't able to make the trip from Wichita Falls. Now, he says if he'd known of the existence of his brother's original coffin, he would have had it destroyed. It's a $300 pinewood casket that would never lay to rest the memory of Lee Harvey Oswald or the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Robert Oswald is in a court fight in Fort Worth over the casket he bought to bury his brother.
Well, I would suspect, that it had to be destroyed, simply because, what do you do with a used casket?
For 33 years since the body of Lee Harvey Oswald was exhumed in 1981, the original pine casket had been stored by funeral home owner Alan Baumgardner.
He didn't tell anybody. He didn't make it available. He sat on it until he thought he could sell it for something of value. And he was right. Sold for $87,000 at auction.
The casket was sold at auction 4 years ago. Robert Oswald says that's when he learned of the casket he thought he'd never see again.
Any reasonable person would expect that answer to be no.
You never thought you'd ever see it again?
No.
Baumgardner's attorney says Robert Oswald has known about his brother's casket for years.
We heard testimony that Robert Oswald knew about the casket as early as 1993, and if that's the case, then Mr. Oswald should have brought a claim at least within that 4-year period following 1993. Otherwise, his claims are barred by the statute of limitations.
Oswald's body was exhumed after questions were raised about whether Lee Harvey Oswald was really the man buried in his grave. He was reburied in a new casket because the original had deteriorated.
He purchased the casket, and Baumgardner Funeral Home sold it. Exhumed his brother and sold the casket out from under him.
Some things are not for sale, ever.
Robert Oswald says that he himself has sold some of his brother's items, like photos and letters, but he says the point is that he owned those. A judge will now consider the 2 days of testimony and make a ruling on who owns that casket. Heather?
All right, Phil, in our Fort Worth newsroom, thank you.